The Bulls are back, baby. The cardiac Bulls are back. They can never just end a game comfortably for us with a big lead. No questions about who's going to win, how they're going to close out the game. They always got to keep us on our toes. But nah, man, this was actually a great game. A great win, especially against a good Pistons team that I actually predicted to finish near the top of the Eastern Conference this year. I still predict that, actually. But what I liked most from this game was not the fact that the Bulls came out strong, started the game well, got themselves out to a big lead, but rather the fact that they, despite blowing said lead, maintained their composure, went back and forth with the Pistons in those final minutes, and closed out the game for the win. They kept their heads in the game, stayed focused, made smart plays, and finished it off. Normally, in these types of situations, you see a young team like the Bulls blow this 23-point lead. They get rattled when the opposing team gets themselves back into the game, and they just fall apart in the fourth quarter. Like, the Pistons were already back in this thing with plenty of time left in the fourth quarter, and the Bulls could have crumbled and folded, and they didn't. Not great that they blew the lead and lost focus in the third quarter, especially on the defensive end, but at the same time, that's a sign of a young team who still has a lot of learning to do in keeping the momentum up and keeping the energy going for the whole 48 minutes. So a lot of takeaways from this game, and I'll add that I'm going to try not to blow things out of proportion here. This is just the first game of the season, first game of a very long season. And despite the fact that the Bulls played very well, there are still a lot of things they need to work on as a team before we start saying, hey, maybe this team can be something here. Maybe we're looking at a team that can make a run. But one thing I was surprised by and pleased with was the fact that the Bulls didn't resort to just chucking up a bunch of threes, which we saw them do a lot last season. It worked well when the threes were falling down, but there were a lot of times where they shot themselves out of game. They took 30 threes in this game, which in today's NBA is below average. They went 11 for 30, 37%. Not bad, that's solid. But what I liked more was the fact that the Bulls really attacked the paint, and against a big team like the Detroit Pistons. I thought they would be more timid and resort to outside shooting in this one. The Bulls had 68 points in the paint. You compare that to the Pistons, who only had 50 in the paint. The Bulls got to the free throw line a lot. They went to the line 32 times in this game. Last season, they averaged 19 free throws per game, second to last in the NBA. We talked about how critical that was going to be for this team in attacking the basket, creating contact, and generating offense by getting to the free throw line. They did that in this game and scored 26 points at the line, shot 81% from the free throw line. The Bulls play the style of offense they want to play this season. They kept up the pace, moved quickly in transition off of a Pistons miss. They had 19 fast break points compared to the Pistons 7, 13 points off turnovers when the Pistons only had 10 turnovers in general in this game. They were efficient and took advantage of the Pistons' mistakes, even though the Pistons didn't make that many, and they outscored them on second chance points as well. The hustle was there, the compete level was there. I love the energy from this team. Even when momentum was starting to swing in favor of the Pistons, they still played hard. They just made more mistakes and couldn't hit shots during that period when the Pistons got back in the game. Now, the biggest shocker to me coming away from this game was the play of Nikola Vucevic. Night and day, stark contrast from what we saw of Vuce in the preseason. I said in a couple videos back that my hope was that this was just Vooch being a longtime veteran, knowing that preseason means nothing. It's more for the younger players to get in the swing of things for the upcoming season, and he was just going to coast a bit until the regular season came around, and that clearly looks to be the case. Vucevic contract year has been activated, ladies and gentlemen. Vooch is upping that trade value and looking to go to a contender. That has been activated as well. Vooch had an incredible game and actually really came through in the clutch for the Bulls to settle things down and hit some big shots when the Bulls really needed it. From clanking what seemed to be all of his threes in the preseason, he goes 4 for 6 from deep in this game, 11 for 18 from the floor. All of a sudden, he got that floater right again. He got his footwork back. Did you see him hustling down the court, catching that lob from Josh Giddey and finishing it while falling out of bounds? This man turns 35 on Friday. Where the heck did that come from? 28 points from Vucevic, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, only 1 turnover, and was a +8 when he was in the game. And then how about Modest Buzelis? So far, so good. So far, he has shown us it wasn't just the preseason, but he's ready to keep things going and doing this in the regular season. Now, I won't lie, I almost had a heart attack when he went down on that closeout and started clutching his ankle on the ground. I was about to crash out if the basketball gods did this to us again, where we have a young up-and-coming player getting injured like that. But thankfully, he walked it off, got right back up, sank all the free throws after that flagrant foul was called. And Modest, he came up big, man. He was not fazed by the moment in this game, coming down to the wire, made some nice defensive plays, hit some big shots driving to the basket, got to the free throw line, 7 for 7 from the line, 7 for 12 from the floor, didn't hit a 3, he would go 0 for 3 from 3, but inside, using those handles and working in the paint, makes it so hard to be able to guard him. He's got to work on those turnovers a bit, especially when he's driving hard, but that will come with time. Modest would finish the game with 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. I tweeted before the game, by the way, my bold prediction for the Bulls this year, bold predictions, I should say, that Modest would finish top 10 in the league in blocks per game, Giddey would finish top 5 in assists, and Tre Jones would lead the team in steals, not the league, but just the Bulls team. Modest, 3 blocks in this one, Giddey, 11 assists, and Tre Jones, 3 steals in this game. Not going to get too cocky here, but it's a good start for those bold predictions. Speaking of Giddey, 6 turnovers, not great, but we also know he's going to be more susceptible to turnovers when he has the ball in his hands for most of this game. But aside from that, Giddey played really well. Showed up strong, showed that he's still going to try to get to the basket, get to the free throw line like we saw towards the end of the season. 11 free throws for Giddey in this game. And yes, while sometimes it doesn't look pretty when he's barreling his way to the basket and looks like he's about to trip over himself, he would somehow manage to spin around his defender and finish at the hoop and draw a foul. It's ugly sometimes, but hey, gets the job done. Giddey would finish this game with 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 assists, and was a +6 when he was on the court. I know people are going to be focusing on that plus-minus all season long and seeing if the Bulls are better with him on the court. Well, he was tonight. Tre Jones, by the way, I still can't say enough good things about this guy. You know, I love that Billy went with him in the starting lineup in place of Kobe. Always hustling, always grinding, making winning plays. 12 points, 8 assists, like I mentioned, the 3 steals as well. Got a really big steal in the final minute or so to give the Bulls a big stop. You need a role player like Jones to step up in these situations when a player like Kobe White is not in the lineup. That's the other thing, by the way, about this win. The Bulls played this way without Kobe, who most would say is still the Bulls' best player. Like, even if the Bulls ended up losing this game, I wouldn't have been that mad about it because they played well, and they also did so without Kobe White, who obviously gives them an entirely new look offensively. Io was solid in this game. Kevin Huerter was solid. Patrick Williams was decent. He was at least scrappy on defense. Dalen Terry, not sure why he got minutes in the fourth quarter or was in the rotation period over guys like Julian Phillips and Noah Senge. And then Isaac Okoro. I'll say this about Okoro because I'm sure there'll be some that will look at the box score and they see he didn't have a single point, fouled 5 times in 23 minutes. But Okoro was actually impactful when he was out there. He only played 23 minutes, but was a +17 when he was on the court. He didn't play as many minutes because he was in foul trouble, which, okay, you got to be better at not fouling when you're playing hard defense, but some of those fouls were ticky-tack fouls, and while he wasn't scoring, he was contributing in other ways. Making nice passes to cutters, boxing out and getting boards over guys that were bigger than him. Like, I still need Okoro to be better, at least have some semblance of offense in his game, but the Bulls played well when he was out there and fit well with that starting unit. So I'll give it some more time before I start saying this guy just is not very good. Anyway, a great game, great start to the season. Bulls are playing with energy, with pace. The vibes are different. They're just different from what it's been in years past. I'm looking forward to seeing what else this team can bring. Sucks because the Bulls are actually off until Saturday now, where they'll face off against the Magic in Orlando. I'm actually going to be in Vegas this weekend for an extended weekend, so I likely won't have any post-game videos during that time, but I will, of course, be watching and maybe making some bets on the Bulls. We'll see. In the meantime, though, guys, as always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.